Welcome to Kaks Bar and Podcast, Canada's first podcast bar. What that means is you can come here for food, you can come here for drinks, you can also come here and record a podcast. Come on down, we're located in downtown Calgary, Alberta in the Beltline area. See you soon.
And we're rolling back again here. Sorry about the little hiatus that's been going on. It's busy seasons for the bar, so even the owner has to hop back on the floor here. I've been bartending a bunch of shifts and everything like that, so I've been unable to make as many podcasts as I normally do. But today we're back. I'm here with Don Tse. Don is the Don of Beer. His Instagram handle is the Don of Beer, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a beer enthusiast. He's a writer. And he's also an importer and exporter of beer products, you said?
Like Vandalay Industries, right?
Okay, Vandalay Industries. I'm going to have all this information in the show notes here. Don and I just met, but we do know some mutual people, but we're just going to dive right into it. First and foremost, Don, how'd you get into your love for beer? Or is it just the obvious reasons, like you were partying and then...
Yeah, no, the surprising thing is that all through university and everything, I actually didn't drink beer. It was only... I was born and raised in Saskatoon. And then I moved to Calgary in the mid-90s, and Big Rock was everywhere at the time. And I had a traditional, and it was like, oh my God, I never had a beer like that before.
Yeah.
And so every week I'd try a new beer. I'm a nerd, so I actually started taking notes of every new beer I tried.
Yeah.
So as of today, it's 27,336 different beers that I have.
Holy shit.
On.
Yeah.
And then, about 25 years ago, I started writing about beer, and now that's my full-time job.
Holy fuck. Like, what, but, why just the love for beer? Like, did you get this for, for spirits and for wine, or?
Beer is more interesting than spirits and wine. I do like bourbon, but, beer is just fascinating to me, and the breadth of flavors, from
there's 27,000.
Yeah, exactly. And it's around the world. It's way less pretentious. French people think their wine is the best. And Italians think their wine is the best. Good beer can be brewed anywhere in the world. So it's a true showcase of the artistry of the brewer, as opposed to just letting nature do its thing, which is very much what winemaking is.
Okay.
So I don't want to sound snobby. I like wine too. Beer is better.
So hold on, you said something here that's kind of resonated with me. You're like, nature naturally made wine, you said.
Yes.
But beer is definitely man-made.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my point there is that if, let's say, you like French wine and you wanted to make the same wine in California, you can't, because the grapes are different, the climate is different. I'm sorry, you can if you were to ship the grapes over from France, and then I suppose make that in
but even if you
California.
ship the wine, if it's not in its natural climate, it's not going to have the same effect. Or not wine, sorry, the grape.
I mean, there's the yeast as well, which is fairly natural to the areas.
Okay.
But with beer, the malt, the hops, water is local. People don't ship water around.
Yeah.
But water chemistry is fairly well understood. So if I wanted to make a beer exactly like they do in Germany, I can do that here. In fact, Jochen in Turner Valley makes very, very good German-style beers in Turner Valley, because it's a skill. It's not as terroir driven as wine is.
Do you feel like a lot of people don't even know how to appreciate beer? Because when I was younger, I had my first drink. I had my first drink before I was allegedly before I was an adult. Allegedly.
Don't admit anything.
Yeah, hey, just toss the word allegedly.
Yes.
But I remember I didn't notice. I mean, it allegedly might have been a Molson Canadian, and then allegedly might have been a Sing Sao beer, like a Chinese beer.
Yeah.
And I remember I just noticed it both tasted different, and I didn't like it. But I liked the effects.
Yeah.
Because it made me instantly relaxed, I remember, and just happier, and things like that. But as far as the taste of it goes, I wouldn't even say I had a preference until well after university ended for me. Because even back then, we're just partying.
Yeah.
It's just whatever it is because kids were all young and new as being an adult. So it was just more or less just this thing that loosens you up so you can go party and talk to girls and stuff. You know? So you didn't really care what you put in your body, just as long as something had alcohol, really. But obviously, as I got older and went past that, then I started noticing like, hey, I like lagers some days, and some other days I like an ale.
Yep.
And then some other days I do like a thick Guinnessy drink, depending on the weather or what, you know, like sometimes I want a Caesar, you know, and it's not now just for the alcohol per se. I mean, it's for like actually palate psychology, you know, like vibe, you know, just a vibe in the room and everything like that. So I kind of understood. So I grew with it a little bit. So I do have an appreciation for it as well. But I definitely didn't take as far as you did, obviously, you know? Yeah.
No, but to your point, I think that this is what is beautiful about beer, is that there's a beer for a hot summer day. There's a beer for the beach. Mm-hmm. There's a beer for by the fire. Yeah. There's a beer for with your friends. There's a beer for listening to music. Yeah. I think beer is a broader beverage than any other beverage. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm disparaging any other beverage. I like wine. I like bourbon. I like gin. Mm-hmm. To me, beer just has the broadest profile in flavor and in situation. So.
Right. So did you did you brew your own? Do you have no, just straight tasting?
Yeah, just straight taste. To me, I think when beer is done right, it is just like art, like any other. Yeah. And I love going to see bands, but I'm not a musician.
Right.
So
do you think you could brew some yourself now if you wanted to? Because you know so much, right?
Not well. I mean, it's a super. Yeah. It is really hard. I really admire people who do it well.
Okay. Yeah. So Don, do you get do people choose you to come, write about their beers and everything like that, or is it all just like your own passion project that you go like that you seek people out and then?
No, it's a little bit of both. So I've been writing about beer for over 20 years, and now I do have enough of a name that people actually seek me out to write articles, which is fun now because as any freelance writer will tell you, it's a lot of pitching and throwing ideas out there. And I'm very happily to the point where I don't pitch anymore. People bring ideas to me, which is great. It's a great position to be in.
Right. Do you ever have to write negative reviews for beer? Or for the most part, are they for the most part good reviews?
For the most part, good reviews. I try not to be negative. I think that the industry is still in a growth phase where people need to understand it. And I don't think it does the industry overall any good to be bad mouthing it.
Right. But what if you just didn't like a certain product, then you have to do yourself, you have to be honest, right? You can't just write like everyone should try this one as well and this one when one like I've had awful beer before.
Yeah,
where I'm like, like every sip just wasn't good. And but yet that's what we bought that night. Yeah. So, we're working our way through it. Some of these are just like off-brand stuff that I don't think are in production anymore.
I try not to. I actually don't do many beer reviews per se. I do more writing about industry or trends and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So then I can talk about positively about good beers that represent that trend and just be silent about.
I guess you're right, because it's like if you don't give it attention, then that probably means it didn't make the cut.
That's right.
Okay. Then okay. So where is the beer industry trending? Because I noticed there's a lot more like RTDs now, especially with the younger generation, people who are turning 18 now and, in the 18 to 25 range now, like it seems like a lot of people like, RTDs, by the way, are called ready to drinks, you know? So for instance, we carry two on our, in Kaks, it's the Shaft, the OG Shaft, and then the, Margarita, both made by Hendo. The brand is by Hendo. So these are already packaged cocktails available on tap. The portions are the same every time and is very consistent, and the Shaft in our margarita sells very well. But we have been noticing like a massive uptick in RTDs because seems like there's a different culture of drinking for the younger generation for sure right now. So what have you noticed with that?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question. I do think the beer industry, the craft beer industry, is at a bit of a actually the overall beer industry is at a bit of a crossroads right now. I've been in craft beer for since mid '90s, so whatever that is, 28 years.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, in the first half of 2023, craft beer production shrank by 2%.
For the first time ever.
That's the first time ever. Craft beer has always grown, at least as long as I've been.
Is that why there's been so many breweries coming up, like in Calgary and in the area? Because Calgary has like 60 breweries.
No, about 44.
44? Okay, sorry. Wow,
but still, yeah. So the industry has been growing. It's been exploding.
Yeah.
I mean, in Calgary in the last, say, 10 years, but globally, say, 25 years.
Yeah.
And in terms of alcoholic beverages, beer has always been number one by volume, by far. And it lost its place to spirits. Spirits actually is there's more spirits sold than beer right now.
Okay.
Globally, which is very interesting. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know.
So what do you think happened?
If I knew, I'd be a lot richer than I am.
Okay.
But consumer tastes are changing.
Yeah.
The backbone of RTDs is spirits.
Yeah.
Not beer. There are some beer-based RTDs. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, a beer-based RTD is a draft beer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But some of them have beer as their base, whereas some of them have spirits as their base.
Okay.
The way they're made.
Okay. Can you give me an example of one of these
So
beer RTDs? Maybe I'm not understanding it.
Well, so like if you have a vodka soda on tap, it's the base is vodka.
Yeah.
You can make a vodka soda where there's actually no vodka in it. They use beer as the base alcohol.
Oh.
And the reason is the taxation. It's different taxes.
Okay.
So some of these RTDs are actually beer based.
Oh, I didn't know that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yeah.
Depending on where you get it, because again, it's tax driven. So Mike's Hard Lemonade sometimes has vodka in it, sometimes does not have vodka in it, sometimes it has beer in it.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Even Fireball.
Okay.
Fireball is cinnamon flavored whiskey.
Yeah.
Right? If you look carefully, some Fireball has no whiskey in it. It's beer based.
What?
Yes.
But they're all advertised as the same product.
Yes. Correct.
Okay. And again, this is just a money tax thing.
Correct.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
But does it have the same exact taste and same exact effect?
Hopefully, it should. I mean,
okay. Well, then it's like whichever's cheaper. Then then I guess it would make most economical sense to just go with that. You know what I'm saying?
So,
like, go with the beer versus the actual whiskey. If that's the exact same thing,
right.
and you feel the exact same way. Like,
some people care though.
right?
Why? I don't know, but some people care. Some people think it's different. And again, it's usually tax driven. So in the case of Fireball, if they've made a choice to sell a beer based Fireball, you probably won't find the bourbon based Fireball in that market.
Right. I see. Okay,
so they've made the choice for you.
So where would we find beer based Fireball as an example? Like, would it be at like a resort or something instead? Like, it's
certain American states, for example.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if there is any in Canada, but yeah, I mean, the point just is that some RTDs are beer based.
Interesting, huh? Like, it's almost like it's like you ruined the sausage for me or something. Because you got some people that are like, wow, like my girl loves Fireball, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I hate beer, I'll never drink beer. I'm like, oh babe, actually you might have been drinking beer this whole time.
I would like to argue, because even if she likes Fireball, it's cinnamon whiskey.
Yeah.
I would like to argue that whiskey is beer. It's distilled beer, but the base of whiskey is beer. The way they make whiskey is they make a beer and then they distill it.
Uh-huh.
So whiskey is distilled beer. So your girlfriend does like whiskey, does like beer. She just doesn't know it. She likes it in concentrated form.
Okay. Well, I guess that means she likes a lot of beer.
Yes.
Fuck. Would you say, Don, do you drink like every night then, would you say? Or like how often do you drink beer then?
In 365 days, probably I drink 350
Oh,
days.
nice. Oh, sweet.
That's usually one beer or maybe two beers.
Yeah.
Unless I'm if I'm traveling and I'm at a beer festival or something, then obviously
Go a bit harder.
go
ramp
hard.
it up.
I don't like to get drunk. I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you I've never been drunk, but it's never my objective.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like feeling out of control.
Yeah.
I am a flavor guy. I like beer for its flavor. I like the stories behind it, that sort of thing. So I am a taster.
Okay.
But yeah, almost every day.
Yeah. Would you say you go through like 2 pints every day? We say 2 beers, like
2 cans.
2 cans. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No,
like,
it's not too bad. I otherwise eat quite healthy. I exercise a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm a sampler, so I do get a lot of samples sent to me for work. I have to do this. It's so hard. And so I think a lot of people would be shocked at how much beer actually goes down my sink.
Oh, okay.
Because I just can't drink them all.
Yeah.
So I might, drink 2 ounces of a beer and then the rest goes down the sink.
Oh, geez, man, you might want to sample it and then give it to the homeless.
I have been in a brewery on multiple occasions where I might have, say, 10 samples in front of me that I need to get through and taste, and then of course I'm leaving at least half of it behind.
Yeah.
And I normally just leave it, and whatever happens to it, which is typically it goes down the sink. But I have had other customers come over and say, like, if you're not going to drink those,
Yeah.
can I have them? And like, I don't care, So yeah,
Is it illegal for you to resell all these samples?
it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. Okay. Like, because as a rep, you getting samples. Yeah, you're right. Because
Can't resell.
You can't resell.
You
Yeah.
can give away.
You can give away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Don, you should hang on to them next time. Because at Kaks here, we do a lot of prizes, right? Like on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
we do trivia nights. They're free to play at, by the way, everyone, to 7 p.m., 9 p.m. on Tuesdays at Kaks. And we do a lot of themed trivia as well. So like this Tuesday coming up, we're going to be doing Star Wars. And we usually have prizes from our reps. So like it might be a hat, it might be like a shirts, it might be bottle openers. But I mean, if you're willing, you should like hook some of that up, and then we can also plug you on the on the show. It could be like, hey, like tonight's prizes are brought to you by Don, the Don of Beer. Follow him on Instagram at Don the Beer, and then it's like Don the Beer has had samples from XYZ.
Yeah.
These are the samples. I don't know. I just feel like don't keep throwing those things down to say there's something you can do with it, right?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, very sweet.
Glassware, I've got tons of glassware.
Oh, sick. Yeah, no, we would love. Yeah, love that. It's for the people. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not for
Yeah,
us
yeah.
here. Okay. So, if you're more of a flavor guy for beer, then does it even need to have alcohol in it for you, or would you like? Because you can probably get pretty into non-alcoholic beers, then, right?
Yeah, I'll say. So I'll taste anything. I've had a lot of non-alcoholic beer. It seems to be quite well. It's on trend right now. There's a lot of new non-alcoholic beers in the market, and that segment is growing quite a lot. Alcohol is not my driver, but having said that, I think what a lot of people in the non-alcoholic beer industry don't want to admit is that there are chemicals that are soluble in water, and there are different chemicals that are soluble in alcohol. And so in non-alcoholic beer, you're not just missing the alcohol, you're missing the flavors delivered by the alcohol.
Okay.
And so there's definitely flavorful non-alcoholic beer out there.
So like non-alcoholic Budweiser, but why does that taste just like Budweiser then?
If you ask me, it doesn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're also the kind of guy that can probably instantaneously tell that Coke's not Pepsi, Pepsi's not Coke.
I've never done that test, but I probably could. I'll tell you this story. I was recently at a brewery, and a fairly large American brewery, very high quality control, very high. This isn't your corner brew pub. It's a very large brewery.
Okay.
And so I was in their sensory lab, and they said, we have some new products that we would like you to try. So they brought them out in clear glassware, unmarked, and they started telling me about the hops in it and the malts in it, and they're telling me all about this beer. I took one sniff, and I said, I think you're releasing a non-alcoholic beer. And you could see their hearts sink, because they thought they had made a non-alcoholic beer that tasted just like beer, but with one sniff, I could tell it was non-alcoholic beer.
Oh shoot!
It absolutely has a different. And I'll tell you.
So what happened with that production? Did they have to stop right away?
No, they've tested
formula?
it. They're happy with it. But my point is just that you cannot make a non-alcoholic beer that tastes just like. I'm not saying it can't be as
Close.
good. It can be as good.
So
it can be better.
It could be close, but not.
It will never be the same,
because it has to have the alcohol compound to it.
Well, it'll be missing those flavors. You could have different flavors.
Yeah.
You could argue it tastes better.
Yeah,
that's fine. The better or worse is a matter of subjective preference, right?
True.
All I'm saying is it will be different.
Are you like, okay, so I gotta admit, like, I'm not like, I used to think I had a distinct palate, because like I like to eat a variety of foods, right?
Yeah.
But I've come to realize I actually don't. I'm quite simple. Like, I just look for the same thing in the different food, if you will.
Yeah.
So like, what I mean by that is it's like, oh, hey, Shawn loves pop, but the reality is Shawn loves sugar. You know, like I'm just looking for sugar wherever I can get it. Like, doesn't matter if it, you know, because some people are like, oh, you really like root beer. It was like, well, I seem to like root beer, orange crush, grape crush, ginger ale, like Coke, Pepsi. Oh no, it's Shawn, you like sugar. You know, there's nothing, your palate's not that unique. But like for you, like do you basically, like, have you fully explored, like, and to completely analyze it, like your taste buds, your tongue, like is that how, because your flavor comes from there, right? Like, you know, and your senses and your smell and everything like that. Like, because I've come to realize too, like I'm not that good with my palate and my sense of smell and everything. Like I'm very simple. I've come to realize you just have to have the same 5 things I like, and you put in any food, then I will like it, you know? And so that's why I'm not a true, you know, I can't do your job ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the palate. Like, so like, I guess someone I'm asking, like you probably have a real strong relationship with your senses then, right?
I mean, I don't think I have, there's a concept called super tasters. I'm not a super taster.
What's a super taster?
A super taster, it's an objective measure. You can actually tell how many, they have way more taste buds on their tongue.
Oh, wow.
And
how do they even begin to know they were a super taster? They just kind of had a hunch, and then you went to,
and then they get tested for it,
like, at a hospital, or like,
and basically, all food is so intense for them that they like super bland foods, because it's like getting punched in the face with too much flavor.
So they're almost too sensitive.
They're too sensitive. So I'm not like that at all. It's just something I'm passionate about. I would argue that anybody could do what I do. It's just about putting in the legwork and caring about it. So.
Okay. Shit. What'd you do before all this? Or you weren't just like out of the womb, like, hey, I can taste the beer.
I practiced law here in Calgary.
Oh, no way, you're a lawyer.
Yeah, for 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, what? Yeah, nice. What kind of law?
I did corporate finance.
Corporate finance. Okay, sweet. Yeah. All right, and you did it for 20 years, you said?
20 years, and then I kind of got tired of it, and beer was more fun. So.
Oh, yeah. And that also allowed you to, like, I take it, financially comfortably, like, transition over to tasting beer for a living.
Yes. Yeah.
Sweet. Is this the plan? Do this for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It is my full-time job now. I do make money doing it.
Wicked.
But yeah, it's more fun. Yeah. And I love to travel. It's a good excuse to travel and taste beer and taste food. Yeah. When you travel and yeah, love it.
So, like, how different is each culture's beers from one another, and which ones are your top favorites?
There are certain countries that have beer culture, like Germany, the UK, Belgium. A lot of other countries now are getting on the craft beer train, but they're making, beer that's really no different from what we get in Canada in terms of IPA, double IPA, hazy IPA. So in terms of of good beer culture, historic beer. It's Germany,
Okay.
Belgium.
I've never been to any of those places. So
Oh, it's
yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
And they have great food culture as well. And
Like haggis or whatever.
Oh, I love haggis in Scotland. Yeah.
What's haggis again? It's like intestines, like cooked
It's
itself.
cooked in intestines. Yeah.
Cooked in.
And it's mixed with it's basically oatmeal. It's spiced oatmeal.
Oh no way! But it's cooked in an intestine
Yeah.
of a dead like sheep. Oh, okay, sick. Fuck yeah. Okay.
People get grossed out when you describe it, but I mean, what is sausage? It's
a whole bunch of everything fucking jumbled together.
It's crappy meat with spices, and historically it would have been cooked in an intestine lining, right? So.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Like classic, super popular beers like Budweiser.
Yeah.
How do you actually feel about that beer? Like, or is it just because of its straight history? And that's why it's so popular. You think, or is that actually like, would you say the top like lager out there and everything? Because isn't Budweiser the most sold beer
in the world? It's
in North America. In America, I guess
it's probably so Bud Light was the number one selling beer in America for a long time.
Yeah.
Actually just lost its spot. It's now number 2. Might even slip to number 3.
That was due to all that controversy.
Well, possibly. Yeah. And the controversy maybe didn't help it, but Bud Light sales have been slipping for a long time. That's what nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I admire it for being very well made. It's sort of the McDonald's of beer. It's consistent anywhere in the world. It's going to taste exactly the same, long shelf life and all that. But is it a culinary delight? Like if you're looking for a fancy meal, nobody's thinking of McDonald's.
Right.
And if you want the best beer, nobody's thinking of Budweiser.
Right.
But actually, it is well made. It's very technically well made. Yes.
You just answered my question. Yeah, you're right. It is the McDonald's. You just got to compare it like that. Yeah, you're right. McDonald's, it was a strong business move. Why it grew. It was McDonald's, and many times it has been explained it's more of a real estate business than it is selling burgers. But then at the same time, when you need it, it's there. It's consistent and like
fast, efficient. Exactly what you're going to get.
Exactly. Okay.
Great price for what you're.
Okay, so for the 23,000 beers you tasted, are there? Do you have like a top 10 or?
No.
Yeah.
What I love about beer is its versatility.
Yeah.
So different beers for different occasions. My fridge, I always have, say 20 beers in there.
Yeah.
And so when I go to get a beer, what am I in the mood for? And it's already in the fridge.
Okay. Sweet. Fuck yeah. Okay. So right now, like take me through like a day in your life. Like, what time do you get up?
I get up at 6.
Yeah.
Every day I go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's my meditation. I kind of do a walking meditation.
Okay.
And then I go home, have some water, go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then after the gym, I start writing. I'll write till.
What do you do in the gym? Are you more like weights or like running or
I'm
yoga?
a power lifter.
Yeah. Okay,
so
sweet.
Low rep, high weight is what I like to do.
So you're just like ripped underneath your clothes right now?
No, definitely not. Power lifters aren't ripped. You're thinking of bodybuilders.
Actually,
yeah. And I work till 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then that's typically when I'll crack my first beer. And I like to read.
Yeah.
So I read a lot.
Yeah.
And
what do you like to read? Fiction, biography?
No, almost all nonfiction. Business books.
Okay.
Leadership books. Beer books.
Okay.
Not just beer books, but flavor, psychology, tasting, that type of thing. I can nerd out if you want to know about retronasal aroma and all. I can nerd out on all that sort of stuff.
I don't even know what retronasal is. Give me the quick.
Oh, retronasal. So everybody knows that. Most people know that flavor is a combination of taste and aroma.
Yeah.
But it's actually aroma that comes up through your mouth, through the back of your nose. Hence retronasal aroma. That is flavor.
Oh, was that why when you drink wine you're supposed to swallow it and exhale through your nose? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because my dad's a connoisseur of wine. Like he really is. Like he's not a sommelier, but I'm sure he could be one if he just went and did everything. Like, but my dad loves wine. He has a big collection. He's been showing me wine since I was a kid. Yeah, but I never really understood like the whole thing. But he would show me he just pour your wine. Here's the legs. This is how you.
And then you
inhale, sniff it. Yep.
But that's orthonasal. They call that. That's orthonasal, direct through your nose.
Yeah.
And very often, the retronasal aroma is different from the orthonasal aroma, which is why sometimes you can smell a beer or a wine, and you'll get, cherries and whatever. And then you taste it and goes, oh, wow, I was expecting cherries, but it's really more like raspberries. Because those two aromas can be different.
Because you okay.
And the warmth of your mouth.
So shouldn't we be drinking beer with retro aroma?
You do.
So I am supposed to swallow and exhale through my nose. Oh,
Yep.
fuck. I only did that for wine.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
I almost need to get another one now.
No, and you do it automatically.
Yeah.
If you do it consciously, then that's how you can pick apart the flavors.
Yeah.
But you do it automatically. If you are tasting something, you are getting it's the retronasal that you are getting.
Okay. Fuck. Are we supposed to do this with food then too?
Yep. And again, you do it automatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But consciously, I mean.
You can if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. So next time I'm having like a nice sushi, I should probably just like really taste that fish.
Let it sit in your mouth.
And then
Yep.
Like
and then
exhale.
after you swallow, let breathe again. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. What about like people with smoked like cigars or cigarettes? I have cigarettes from time to time, so it's like more than time to time lately. But it's like I do notice that that messes with your taste buds and everything like that.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like to truly appreciate and do your work, you can't really partake in smoking. It would.
No, I don't. I absolutely don't smoke.
Yeah.
I don't like when people wear heavy perfumes. And things like, I don't like any of that.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, hopefully you didn't notice the Febreze smell in here too strong because I actually.
I did not notice. So see, there you go.
All right. Okay.
I didn't notice, but.
Yeah, my partner was just like, hey, you better air that out for the taste guy. But yeah, okay. So right now, you sound like you're having like a lot of fun in your life right now. Did you just kind of in a way stumbled into this sweet lifestyle you have now in a weird way?
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you said you started writing 23 years ago, like you just had a passion for writing about it.
Yeah, there used to be a weekly arts and entertainment publication in Calgary called Fast Forward.
Yeah, I remember Fast Forward. Yeah.
So a friend of mine was writing a weekly beer column for them, and then he was either moving away or didn't want to do it anymore. So I took it over just for fun. I enjoyed that. So then I started trying to write for other publications.
Yeah. And
then doing more and more of that. So, I mean, I stumbled into it, but I did put some effort into, writing for different publications and everything as well. So,
okay. Sick. So where can people find your work right now again? You have the website then? Or?
So my website is thedonofbeer.com.
Okay. Yeah.
I do post links to most of my writing, but not all of it.
Uh-huh.
Consumer facing, I write for Forbes.com.
Okay.
And then I'm a nerd, so I write for a lot of industry magazines where I'll talk about protein levels in malt and stuff like that. I love this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That most people roll their eyes and get, even brewers. If I start talking about protein levels in barley, most brewers will even roll their eyes at me. But it matters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So what's the best beer to build muscle? Then you said there's tons of protein in beer. Like
no, that's not what I mean. It's protein has to do with the way yeast needs protein to synthesize the alcohol and everything. Okay. But protein is actually a negative I should say residual protein is a negative in beer. It negatively affects shelf stability. So you need the right amount of protein in a beer. And this is something, again, most people don't even care about. I'm talking about it. But
I'm literally piecing what you're saying in my head here. Keep going. I'm learning. Part of why I love podcasting too is I learned. Like I've just talked to such a variety of people.
This is the type of stuff I nerd out on. But most people don't care. Barley has protein in it because of fertilizer. When farmers are fertilizing the field, that's nitrogen. They're applying nitrogen, potash.
Yeah.
Nitrogen is protein. So that protein goes into the barley. When the barley is malted, that changes some of the proteins into different proteins, and frees some of them. So the key thing that we care about in beer is called free amino nitrogen. When you ferment a beer, you add yeast, and the first thing that happens is the yeast has to grow. Even before it starts making alcohol, one cell of yeast will become thousands of cells of yeast. It multiplies. That process requires free amino nitrogen. So there's free amino nitrogen from the malt. The protein will suck up a bunch of that will use it to grow.
Okay.
If there's too much free amino nitrogen, then after the yeast has grown, there's still free amino nitrogen left in the beer, in the finished fermented beer.
Okay.
And that free amino nitrogen is highly reactive with oxygen.
Okay.
And so if there's oxygen in the beer, which there always is, at least some, then you'll get off flavors. Cardboardy, wet cardboard. Have you ever smelled left a cardboard box out in the rain and you smelt that?
Yeah.
It will create that flavor.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So to make great beer with good shelf life, you need enough free amino nitrogen for the yeast, but not too much free amino nitrogen, because then you'll get wet cardboard.
So it has to be like precise.
It has to be precise.
Okay.
And these are the types of things, like, I probably bored you to death just now. But I love this stuff.
No, you did not bore me, to be honest with you. Yeah, I was just trying to piece together everything you're saying, right? Like I'm a bar owner and I'm a retailer of the products, but like I don't always know everything there is to know about everything there is to know about
and it's just a matter of how the brewer deals with it. So in North America, barley malt typically has between 12 and 13% protein. In Europe, you won't find malt with over 10.5% protein. So they brew their beer differently. Not one is right and one is wrong. They just have to do it differently because the protein levels are different.
Okay. Like just switching a bit of gears here. What's the history behind how this beer even got started brewing with all cultures? Like, because you said wine naturally it occurred. Yeah. But beer, you said it has to be, it's just even what you explained right here. Like, it's like, or were people just trying to find a different way to get to have an alcoholic beverage,
Yeah, so there's a lot of speculation on this because beer is old. Beer dates back to literally the earliest days of civilization. First written records are some of the first written records are of beer recipes
in what, ancient Europe,
Egypt,
okay.
Mesopotamia.
Okay.
Also, if archaeologists, when they analyze residue in clay pots that they find, some of these clay pots are 20,000 years old, and they analyze the residue, and they suspect there was beer in there. It's hard to prove these things, right?
Right.
But barley is not a good, like, when was the last time you ate barley? Never.
Yeah.
People don't eat barley. Barley is used for brewing, and it's used for cattle feed, like livestock feed.
Mm-hmm.
So when archaeologists find residue of a liquid with barley in an old vessel, they're guessing it's beer. I mean, what else would it be? So this goes back, millennia, tens of millennia. How beer making is hard. It requires process. So people are guessing that probably they made a loaf of bread or something, and then it got wet, and food is, in those days, you don't waste food. Food is scarce, right? So they probably thought, well, let's try and drink this anyways. And then they maybe felt different and felt good. Maybe they even had visions because they got drunk or whatever, right? And then there was good. Oh, the gods spoke to me. So let's try and do this again. And then slowly, they figured out how to make beer.
So it might have been a happy accident.
It might have been a happy accident.
Okay, man. Like you're, because like you and I are fellow Asians, it's like a lot of Asians get the red alcohol allergy gene, right? So it's like you obviously don't have.
I don't.
No, yeah, neither do I. My brother and sister have it though. They get super red face. Same with my mom, but me and my dad, we don't have it. So so it's kind of like it's kind of interesting how I don't know that you're able to do it, because it's almost like a coin toss for a lot of Asians.
Yeah,
right?
well, my brother, my siblings both get the Asian flush.
Yeah,
they call it. But I do not, thankfully.
Yeah. All right, sick. And you said you're born and raised in Saskatoon, hey?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, sweet. And wait, and you came to Calgary in your
95.
How old were you then? Like
24.
24. Okay. What made you make the move here, and what made you stay here? Like,
so the job. I mean, I wanted to be a corporate lawyer.
Yeah.
Saskatoon was not the place.
Yeah.
I mean, there's corporate lawyers there, obviously, but I wanted to work on the big deals, and that's what I got to do here.
Okay. With what, like oil companies over here?
Oil companies, CP Rail, Trans Canada, all the big companies that are based in Calgary.
Okay, sick. Fuck yeah. And okay, so you said so we talked off air earlier, but you're not with Alberta Beer Fest, but you just
not at all.
Okay, but but you just obviously attend every year. It makes sense.
Friends with them. Again, Alberta Beer Festivals, I think, is over 20 years old as well.
I drinks with Bill a while back, a couple months back, and I'm not gonna lie, like he explained the whole history, but like I can't pull up the timelines now again. Like I just know the origins of Beer Festival is quite funny. Like there's an element of like a happy accident. thing.
They
that
used to be
happened.
event planners.
That's right. Yeah,
and this was one of their events. And they didn't make money on the other events, so they kept going with this one.
And there's a bit more of a what do you call it, fate, if you will, like how things worked out. But like I met Mark as well a couple months ago, like Mark Condat. Yeah, he has a podcast as well. So like I want us to do a collab eventually here. But I do know, like I know Dan Allard real well from Cold Garden. So he's a good friend of mine. So that, like I do see the magic of the whole brewery world and everything like that. So, at first glance, it looks almost like, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You go in there, you're like, holy shit, like I sell the thing, but I can't believe you make it. So I don't know. Like, so again, you said you have zero aspirations to ever brew the beer, hey?
Yeah.
But you're such a nerd. You just said you basically know all the everything there is to know.
I don't know that I know everything. What I love about beer is you can never know everything there is to know. There's always something new and exciting. And even though the beer is 10,000 years old, we're still learning new things. Do you know much about like Asian beers then? Because the only beers I know is Tiger Beer, Sing Sao, and Sapporo. Yeah, I mean, I know those beers.
Like, do they have a big brewery culture over there?
So those would be their Budweiser. Basically, it's large, what we call mass market adjunct beer.
Yeah.
So most people know the beer is made from barley and hops and water and yeast. Adjuncts, by adjuncts, I mean anything other than those. So rice in the case of Budweiser, or corn in the case of most other large beers. So including Tsingtao and Sapporo, they would all use adjuncts.
Okay. So is there demand for more variety of beer over there? I mean, it's just such a huge population, right? Like,
so you're starting to see, I would say that they are doing maybe what we were doing 20 years ago, beer wise. There is a small craft beer community that is growing. And so hopefully that continues to be the case.
Okay. But right now, so to circle back to the beginning of this conversation, like, why is craft beer taking a dip right now? You said you didn't know, but what, and then I brought up the RTD thing, but there's got to be a bit more to it, or is more people just simply not drinking as much? Like,
I think there's some of that. I think that there's some of inflation and economy where people are picking and choosing what they're spending money on.
Right. Yeah.
But I look at overall alcohol trends as well, and alcohol overall, wine, spirits, even RTDs are all down from last year.
How do you feel about that? Because in a weird way, like, it's a paradox, right? Because I sell alcohol and food.
Yep.
That's how I make a living.
Yep.
But at the same time, I also do consume alcohol and food. I also do consume alcohol, but I also am, like, I'm not an alcoholic, you know, like, I might joke that I am, but I'm not, like, I care very much about, like, my health as well and everything like that. But like, but it is a paradox, because when I hear, okay, people are drinking less, there's a side of that is good. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of bad things happen because people get hammered all the time,
Yep.
But then a lot of great things happen too because people get hammered all the time, right? Like, so I don't know, but it's kind of, it's just a little bit, it sucks for the people who are trying to get into it now if there's no room to get into it. You know what I mean? If you're like, hey man, like, this, the supply demand thing, there's just really it's not as much demand for it, like, and then, and I don't know, man, like, who knows where this thing's trajectorying towards? Because, I mean, isn't all science fiction movies always showing the future is actually people don't drink anymore?
Well, all science fiction movies are also all apocalyptic too. So, none of them are good news stories.
Well, not Star Trek.
Oh, I guess not. I was thinking like, Last of Us. They're all, it's all post-apocalyptic type of stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I I'm happy for people to make whatever life choices they want to make. And then the industry just needs to react. And so you do see local breweries making non-alcoholic beer, for example. Some are making RTDs as well. Which is great. I don't think there's anything special about the beer industry. I think a lot of people think there is, but I don't think so. It's a beer industry. It's an industry like any other. And when a new Vietnamese restaurant opens up, nobody goes, "Oh, we have too many Vietnamese restaurants." And when a Vietnamese restaurant closes, nobody goes, "Oh, the Vietnamese food bubble has burst."
Yeah.
I mean, businesses open and close all the time. So breweries can open and close. The ones that offer a product that the consumers want, whether that's because their product is superior or their marketing is better or their pricing is better or whatever, it's just the same as any other business.
Okay. And you just sparked another question I have then. Do you feel like marketing is the key to because you just said that you can't even pick a top 10 beer out of 23,000 beers you tasted.
Right.
So like the most sold, this sounds like it's just marketing for something like beer, right?
Well, the biggest example is Budweiser.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely that their sales is based on marketing. But even in the craft beer industry, and like any other business, ideally you have everything. You have a great product, you have great marketing, you have great pricing, you have great team,
great vibes,
everything, right? And so as the craft beer industry matures, as it's forced to mature because the growth is no longer there, then the cream will rise to the top. That's just the way business works.
Yeah, I guess. And life works as well, really. Yeah. Hey, Don, a quick question. Like how old are you, Don?
I am 52.
52? Okay, sweet. So you've, and how long you been able to just drink, how long you been able to do the beer thing now? Like when did you leave corporate law?
8 years ago.
8 years ago. Okay. So, hey, this is still kind of recent-ish than your new lifestyle.
It seems like a long time ago for me, but
sweet. And okay, so like, there's no end in sight. Then you just keep doing this.
I am having fun.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. And your body's holding up.
My body's holding up.
Yeah.
I do try to take care of it with food and exercise. So, yeah.
What's your diet like then how much do you sleep? Because you said your gym is usually powerlifting. I take it's more or less to maintain muscle mass and size and everything like that.
It's also what do the exercise that you enjoy doing. So it's what I enjoy doing.
Right. Yeah. Like I actually do more bodybuilding, circuit training-esque kind of moves. I steered away from deadlifting probably, since we started the business here actually, because I just found it's weird. Like I just my lower back, something's not. I'm either doing the exercise wrong, even though I've done it my whole life, or something. But what's your nutrition like? What's your sleep like? I just ask because people who, by all accounts, most doctors say if you have alcohol a day every day, that like you're technically like unhealthy or something like that. You're technically, but your energy seems fine, and you tell me, So what do you do?
I sleep 8 hours.
8. So you're in bed by 10 then every day.
Okay. Right. If I'm feeling tired, I will take a nap in the afternoon. That's not very often. I get good sleep. My nutrition, I don't know, fairly balanced. I'm not a anything-ivore. Like I do eat meat, mostly fish, but I do eat red meat. I do eat chicken.
So you like sushi then?
I love sushi.
Yeah.
If I ate sushi every day for the rest of my life, I'd be fine.
Me too.
I am playing around a little bit with intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Mostly just skipping breakfast. So if I eat between noon and 8 p.m., that's 8-hour window. And then that's 16 hours of fasting.
Okay.
I drink lots of water.
Yeah.
I think what I tell my friends that the number one best thing you can do, the number one easiest thing you can do to improve your health is drink more water. And it is true you can have too much water, but most people are very, very far from that.
Okay.
So drink more water, get more sleep. Those are, I think, the two healthiest things you can do.
Interesting. Yeah, because a guy like you has to do that. Otherwise, if you're having beer every night, even though you said you only have one or two, but you're still, like there's gonna be times when you gotta, tie one on, if you will. And if you're in your 50s, it's like there has to be a balance, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because otherwise, you're not gonna you're not going to make
I don't, the thing is that it has nothing to do with my age, in my opinion. I do it because I feel better. Like, it's not, I don't eat healthy so I can drink. I eat healthy because I feel better.
Right.
And then I can drink. Like, the two are only very tangentially related. You should sleep because
you feel better.
You feel better.
Yeah.
You have so much energy.
Yeah.
And it's just longer term thinking. Like, people who stay up late, they say, oh, I can't get this. Well, if you try it for a while, you will see. You will have better energy. You will feel better. You will think better. You'll be more productive.
Mm-hmm. It's that going to bed early seems boring kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I get up early too. Yeah. So I don't sleep more than other people, I don't think. Mm-hmm. Or at least I don't sleep more than people should be sleeping.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
And 6 a.m. is an incredibly productive time because nobody else is up.
Yeah.
So, and by productive, I just mean I go for a walk, and I don't listen to music or anything. I just go for a walk, and I'm alone with my thoughts, and I have such great ideas when I'm just kind of in the quiet.
Yeah. Do you walk around like your neighborhood or like?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like what? Like you don't to give me your exact address, but what side of town do you live in?
I'm in the Northeast.
Northeast. Okay.
But just walk around. It's quiet, and in December it's dark. So it's very meditative for me.
Okay. Fuck, man. I don't know, man. Like I just met you, but I envy your life because it seems very balanced and just like a peaceful pace. You know, like because my world is nothing like that right now. Like
and very different from when I was a lawyer.
Yeah. When you were a lawyer, there must have been like 20-hour days sometimes.
I did transactional work, and so it was a weird roller coaster because there'd be days where I had nothing to do, and then the next day I'd be 20 hours.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. But it was all worth it. I mean, like that line of work, it does create financial freedom,
Yeah. And I mean, I enjoyed it for a while. I actually had a lot of fun doing it for a while, and then it just grinds on you after a while.
Yeah. But you still did it for, if you're 52, 44.
44 is when I.
Yeah. And then if you start law school, what,
18,
26, you finish.
I was 20.
You did it for 20 years.
I was 24 when I finished. So 20 years I practiced.
20 years. Holy shit. Yeah. Can you go, is that something you can just go back to, by the way? Or do you have to re-update your exams?
I can just go back to it. Yeah.
Okay. So if say you ever feel like I don't know how much money you make doing, just literally living the sweet lifestyle like you're living right now. But say the beer industry, I don't know, just takes a bit of a dip or something like that. It's like you can literally just go back to corporate law if you wanted to.
Yeah, if somebody would take me. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Don, I'm going to wind this down right here. It's a pleasure talking to you. Obviously, fascinating lifestyle you're living anyway. Like for me, it's like obviously I sell booze, but I'm just more fascinated that you have this interesting pace that eventually I think I want to get there one day, but right now for me, I'm in the grind stage, starting new business, being
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I would encourage people, think about where you want to be.
Yeah.
No matter how great your life is right now. And I hope everybody's life is great. But think about where you want to be 20 years from now and start taking, that doesn't mean you have to turn the switch. Start taking steps in that direction.
Yeah.
And then 20 years from now, you can be a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I already knew what I was getting into signing up, but I know long term, I do know when I'm 50 and up, I want my pace in my life to be I want to always have purpose and be making a difference, but for fuck's sakes, I want to get 8 hours of sleep again.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not getting that ever.
Yeah.
And then, and I want to be able to, one thing you said earlier that really resonated with me again was you said you love to read. I'm I literally don't have time to read. I would love to read. I do like reading myself. I love, a lot of times it's I love a quiet Friday. Someone calls you, hang up. You're oh, hey, I actually have this thing I have to do. But really you just have all evening to smoke, drink, and just read some cool books.
But that is a thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I loved I love those quiet nights, but I don't have those anymore. But I wouldn't trade it because I love this as well. I do love the hustle and grind, but people in my audience listening to the pod is probably getting sick of me talking about how little sleep I get, but it is absolutely pissing me off though, because like there's just no time to fit it in. There's no time to fit it in, and then whatever I can get, it's just like I feel like whenever I shut my eyes, it's like, and then it's back open, and I got to go again. And I look, that was 4 hours. Just like, I don't feel rested ever, but when I'm engaged like this, then it's fine. But there's those little lulls in between where I'm like waiting for it's not long. It might be only 2-3 minutes, or 5 minutes, but there's 5 minutes I completely recognize how exhausted I am, and there's nothing I can do about it. I don't want to just start crushing Red Bulls nonstop. That's not healthy either.
So I would argue you've already made the first step. You've recognized that you do want to get more sleep.
Yeah.
So as long as you're conscious of the issue, then at some point you're going to figure out, well, if I move this around, then that will buy me an extra hour or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, Oh, it's a me problem. I'll figure it out. Donna, do you have any closing statements or anything like that?
No. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you for hopping on.
Everybody should drink good beer. That's the main takeaway.
All of our beer here at Kaks Bar and Podcast are amazing. I genuinely love our entire selection. So you should come on down and see what we got on our taps. We're always meeting different reps and everything like that, so we get a bunch of new goodies and everything like that. But okay, everyone. Don the beers. All of his information is going to be in the show notes there, and definitely check out his content if you want and you have more questions about beer. I suppose fire him a message. About beer. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll if I meet another beer guy like along the way, maybe I can pull you in for do another pod, and then you guys can actually fully geek out, and then I can sit here and just
and then all the listeners can get bored.
Yeah, hey, I don't know, man. Like it's all about. Like I was fully paying attention when you were explaining everything there. I just that's one thing I love about doing my podcast. Like I learn a lot whenever I meet interesting people from different walks of life. It's just all about how you explain it. If you explain it enthusiastically, like people are gonna listen. It's just if you're bland, like meh, then people might be like, okay, like I'm ready to go to sleep. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Shawn.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.